was the work on the offensive glass?
Oh.
Leading to second chance points?
Yeah, it was huge. I thought Paul Reed and Tuck had an amazing impact on the game. I thought those two guys, they got everyone. I think Jalen was involved too with deflections, keeping it alive. I thought we had a size advantage. We took advantage. I thought that and our passing and our ability to force turnovers and that turn the ball over. I think we ended up with 19 more shots. I'm not even looking. I'm guessing that. You're going to win games. So, you look at it, we shot 47%. They shot 55, shooting 63 at halftime, but we were still up because we had more shots at the basket. That was huge for us.
Overall, what did you make of PJ's performance today?
He was great. Just his energy. I think, tonight, like, obviously our skill guys were great. James, I thought, one of his best games at being, a catcher, where he's calling the perfect game. But I thought our energy guys played a big part in this game. D'Anthony Melton, Jalen, Paul Reed, Tuck. I thought those four guys, they had a huge imprint on why we won tonight.
You think you can kind of see how much healthier he is on those step back threes that he's hitting when he's knocking Dinwiddie down 4 feet and kind of just having that quick twitch back? Yeah,
well, he's in shape. He's healthy. He's confident in how we play. Now, last year, everything was, even when he was playing, am I doing the right thing here? So there was a lot of good there.
What was the issues inside the arc in the first half? I think you were shooting like 55 or 60%, I think, and then like 30 on twos. Is that something they were doing, or you guys?
No, we had good shots. It's funny. I said it at halftime. I said, guys, for the record, we're getting great shots, and we're not making them. And that's okay, because that's going to happen. There's nothing you can do about that. You miss open shots. As a coach, you live with it. But you got to find a way on those nights to do something else to help win. And I thought it was the extra shots, the not turning the ball over, and the forcing the turnovers.
It also seemed like they early on in particular were selling out on Joel. Right?
Yeah.
Was it great for you guys to have a few of those threes go down at the beginning to take advantage of
Yeah, it always helps, but we weren't going to stop shooting them. We worked on it all week, and I give Joe credit because I thought, especially early, he was really patient, and we sold that to him. You're going to end up with whatever amount of points no matter what happens, and that happened. But when you start making everybody else better, and then we have James making everybody else better, it makes us a pretty good team.
You did just talk about Brooklyn shooting 57%,
Yeah.
shot 63% at halftime. So what do you think the issues were?
Well, listen, at halftime, Bridges was destroying us, and the first half for him, it was like being on the beach. He just kept curling in the paint, wide open shots. Second half, we double teamed him a lot more. We got the ball out of his hands, and I thought that was effective.
What about Tobias Harris? You had Harrison at 20 points, you had
Yeah.
Embiid, and you had Harden. Is that also a byproduct of Harden feeding everybody?
Yeah. When Tobias is playing well, when George has points, it usually means the ball's moving. Tyrese too in some ways. Tyrese can get his own, and so can Tobias really. But I just thought it just showed that we were trusting the pass. We made a couple passes. A guy missed a shot, and we threw it right back to him. We got to keep doing that. That's our growth area, and we just got to keep doing it.
Doc, a lot of times this year we've talked about teams beating you guys in the way you beat Brooklyn, the offensive rebounds, transition, things like that. I guess, what do you think was the difference today that you guys flipped that script on?
Well, we talked about it all week. That helps. We did. We just thought there's some things that we can do. Every opponent is different. But we thought we had a size advantage. Let's use it. Let's still get back in transition, which we did overall. First half, I thought we lost their three-point shooters in transition a couple times. But I thought we did both. We were able to crash the glass and get back and take away their shots.
Doc, it felt like when you guys were going drop on Mikal and he was getting, attacking in space, also some good weak side activity with you guys turning him over.
Yeah.
So what were you trying to do schematically to turn?
Just make him play in traffic more. I just thought he had, visualization. He had the highway in the first half. In the second half, it was a traffic jam. And that's how he has to play. He's too good. He's too long. And that's the other thing that, we talk with Mel. Like, when you're helping off of Bridges and you get back, he doesn't even see you. He's too long. You got to get under him and make him put the ball on the floor. And I thought we did better in that.
You
talked about the
Morgan?
size of it. You talked about the size advantage. Just obviously, you guys have been efficient anyway.
Yeah.
Three, but
Yeah.
when you have that big a size advantage,
Yeah.
you got to come in and dig and ready
Yeah.
and double and help.
But you still got to pass the ball. You know, we did a baseball thing all week where every pass was a ball or a strike, and we were throwing a lot of balls, and you miss those shots. But when you throw a lot of strikes right in the, you make those shots. And I don't know if you saw a couple guys. Every time a guy tucked through one, he was counting down the floor, strike two. You know, that's important for us to visualize. You know, on-target passes help. I thought we did that tonight.
Doc, why do you think Joel has progressed so far in not just recognizing a double team, but recognizing what the immediate open passes or
Yeah.
hockey assist is going to be?
Yeah, that's a good question. Probably trust. You know, trusting his teammates. We work on it. Put them in the elbow where he can see it, and he works on it. So probably all those together and maturity. I mean, all those things are probably all those things are the reason. But it's good for him to see how much he can do with a pass to help his teammates. That's a good thing for our team.
What did you make of the energy in the building tonight?
It was awesome. It was great. You know, I always, you know, as a coach, you always worry about literally everything. And I think I saw that 1 o'clock game, and I was like, I hope they go in at night tonight, on Friday night in Philly, and come out. And it was awesome. Even last night, you know, you look out your window, it was blue everywhere. It was really cool stuff, you know. And so they showed up, whether they were out last night or not. They showed up, and that was good. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys, what we got?
Jacque, after that first half, when you look at shooting 63% from the field, 6 of 12 from downtown, what areas did you see this game take a different direction?
Yeah, interesting. Obviously, you saw our game plan of not letting Joel get off early. He had 7 shot attempts at halftime. So strategy, check, good. Then I think you have to look at the shots that were made, whether that was 2 pull-up transitions, not transition, but 2 off-the-bounce pull-ups from Tobias. Great shot. You pat him on the back for that. James had 3 at the end of the shot clock. Pat him on the back. Great for that. So overall, adjustments we'll continue to make. I think for us, when I look at the stat sheet, I just look at the shot discrepancy. It's been a problem for us all year. So twofold, the turnovers, we should be turning them over, not us turning the basketball over. But hopefully they'll be calling travel and 3 seconds on the big fella next game, so I'll look forward to that. And then for us, we got to shoot threes. And so that comes with getting the rebound. So we had some initial stops. They got offensive rebounds. Some of them long bounces, part of basketball. Some of them where we got to hit somebody.
About the rebounding battle earlier, about it being a main point of emphasis. When you look at how they're able to get the offensive glass and get those 21-second chance points, how did you see them able to capitalize off of that?
It is definitely multiple effort. This time of the year, you have to have multiple efforts. And so it goes from your traditional spacing on the defensive end because you trap Embiid. Now you're rotating. Now you need another effort to stop the penetration, then go after the rebound. So it is just given multiple efforts. We just got to get that in our brain that that's what it's going to take in this series. It's not going to be traditional. We got to mix things up, take some risks, and we did that tonight.
Jacque, going off that, I mean, they came into the game, I think, the top 3-point shooting team in the league after the All-Star break. So assuming you knew you're going to double Joel, there's probably be some looks for them that you were prepared to live with, I guess. How many of the 3-point shooting, their 3-point shooting in general, was what you expected slant for slant, and the other being, miscommunication and giving them some of those open looks?
No, I think overall, if you take away, I mean, it'd be interesting to watch the game again, but when you take away the ones made off the offensive rebounds, those, if we take care of the offensive rebound, those you can, take out of the equation. PJ made a corner 3, then he missed a corner 3. That's part of the game. Then you take ones Tobias off the bounce 3. He made it with a contest over Spencer. The James 29-footer, then one off the bounce with 3 seconds on the clock. That's just part of basketball. You pat him on the back and say, good shot. So we have to be disciplined enough that the shots that we want to give up because of game plan-wise, those are okay. But the extra effort, you got to make this play, somehow you got to come up with the basketball. We need this possession. Those are the ones that hurt and have momentum.
For Paul Reed to come in and have the impact that he did, just what did you see that allowed him to kind of just get away from you guys?
I think that unit, it is James focused, and so maybe our attention in a few possessions was on James. He got a couple offensive rebounds. He got a drop off, and so I think his baskets have to be contested, all of those. but the focus is still going to be on James and that group and the shooters in that group.
Spencer, with some of his alley-oops, like they were a little high. Just what did you see, and do you have to tell him anything, or do you know that he's just going to get himself together?
No, I told him I take the odds of him completing those. I've seen it done before, and I've seen him do it at a high level. So I said to him during one of the timeouts that the odds are in your favor. We're going to connect on a few of these. The good thing is our bigs are getting to the rim. It is available. That's the difference between sometimes scrimmaging during the week and giving your guys off a little time to recover during the week. You just don't get that timing a little bit throughout the course of the week.
Jacque obviously had that hot first half. Was that kind of what you expected for him to kind of get going? And what did you see differently in the second half with what Philly did to him?
Yeah, I thought that, the game just slowed down the second half a little bit, and that was the biggest difference. For us, we have to keep this thing fast-paced, and it starts with stops. I thought he had a great first half for us, setting the tone, really getting to his spots, showed an array of shots. It's on me to continue to get the ball to him and also continue to have pace where they're not bogging him down and holding him and grabbing him and letting him not play with freedom of movement.
And then the second, and with Embiid, obviously, you mentioned the strategy you guys had doubling him. Was it just a matter of him getting those looks in the second half that got him going, or what changed with your strategy, I guess, in your mind?
Well, that's the discipline, the consistency that you're going to need for 4 quarters. And so for us, we were able to be on time with some of our traps at the beginning of the game. We still got to be on time in the third and the fourth quarter. What he did do is reestablish himself, whether it was trying to repost or reestablish at the top of the key once he gave it up. Those are the ones we need to take away from him and make it tougher for him to catch. So everything has to be challenged for him. There's nothing that we want to allow to be easy for especially those.
Joel, how do you explain your efficiency, especially recently, in beating double teams? Not just beating them and not turning the ball over, but setting your team up for immediate shots. It seems like there's been a pretty big jump in the last 6 months.
Just keeping it simple. Like we saw. You want to drive? Okay, drive. No, that's for daddy. Every single possession, they just kept doubling. It didn't matter where I was, half court, 3-point line, post. I gotta trust in my teammates and gotta make the simple plays, and and we took advantage of that scheme.
How important was the effort on the offensive glass, getting all those extra shots and setting points?
You want to go drive? Okay, go drive.
Wait.
It was important. Anytime you can have, 15, 16 more shots than the opponent, it helps a lot. You going to see mommy? Mommy's over there. Oh, no, I know. Oh, no. It's fine. Anytime you can get, more possessions than the other team, is always good. He's always great. We took advantage of it, and like I said, we scored a lot out of those.
Jacque talked about the way you guys moved the ball around today, especially from James Harden getting 13 assists. Kind of talk about that a little bit.
He came from, like I said, they just double. They were running all over the place. Our game plan was, especially for me, to just invite the double team and, make plays for my teammates. Same thing for James. Anytime it was double and, anytime, there was dribble penetration, he made the right play every single time.
What do you think went wrong against Bridges in the first half, and what did you guys do to correct that in the second half?
We let him get comfortable. Everything he was getting downhill. He was getting a bunch of pull-up jumpers, and it's not easy being the star or being the main guy. So as soon as we saw that, we just doubled him, got the ball out of his hands, and worked out pretty well for us.
What did you think of Aubrey's performance in the minutes you were off the floor?
He was great. Like I said, him and PJ, extra possessions, and then I thought he did a great job screening, rolling, playing, out of that dunker, getting easy passes and finishing. Made a great move, behind the back, that we probably don't want to see again. But I'm just kidding. He can do whatever he wants. Whatever works, I guess got to keep doing it. But he was great.
James Harden was talking about how much healthier he is now compared to last year. In your view, how much more comfortable and healthy is he going into these playoffs?
Man, he looked great. Just like I said, just dribble penetration. Setting up guys. His shot looked great from three. He got his shot blocked a few times at the rim, but it's gonna happen, and I'm sure next time he's gonna finish it. But he looks amazing, and that's great to see.
Doc said, last question. Doc called him. He said he was a catcher almost in the way he was calling the game today.
Yeah.
You've talked a bunch of times how you thought he's the best playmaker in the league. Is that the way he was playing today in that facet? Is that what you guys are going to need to get where you want to go in terms of the way you're setting guys up and making plays?
Yeah, I think like I said, best playmaker in the league by far. But we don't want him, and suddenly me, I don't want him to fall in love with just that. Need him to be aggressive, and he was today, just attacking. And by him attacking, he collapses the defense, and it creates open shots for everybody else. So Pee-wee playing in the dunker, easy drop off passes. So I think the keys. Not just being a playmaker, just being aggressive, going downhill and creating for himself and, everyone else.
Thanks, Joe.
You ready? You want to go home? You want to go in Daddy's car?
Anybody?
What was working for you guys tonight from distance with all the threes that you guys made?
Something that they was giving us. They double Joe the whole game basically. Tried their best to not let him get going. He still had 20 something, but I think he did a really good job of just making the easy passes, and we knocked shots down.
How much can that almost be contagious if he's playing so well off those double teams and it kind of helps everyone else move the ball?
It makes it easy. Like he's gonna get his buckets no matter what. That's just how good he is. And then we making shots, we attacking the basket, and we just generating easier shots for us. And I think that was the key tonight. With that being said, game 2 is going to be much more difficult. They're going to make adjustments, and we're going to make adjustments. So it's going to be the most important game of the series, and we got to come out with the same mindset.
What did you make of the way PJ played today?
That's what we brought him here for. Like the extra possessions, the shot making in the corners, his defense. That's the reason why he's on our team. You know what I mean?
Can you talk about that second quarter you had? You were 4 for 5 from 3, like 4 in a row with the step back threes.
Just trying to be aggressive. They double teaming Joel, so somebody else got to make shots and be aggressive, and just put the work in. You live with the results, and I make some shots.
You mentioned adjustments. Both teams will make adjustments. Would you be surprised if they came out and doubled Joel again like they did today?
We'll wait and see. I can't tell you. But what?
That surprised you?
What
you guys did.
He's the MVP, so it's like, would you rather him scoring 40 or living with us making shots? And either way, it's fine. So we'll be ready either way.
You talk about how big your body feels. Do you feel it on your step back? You think about that when you knock anybody off his feet with it. It just seems like you look so much stronger, in that move in particular.
Yeah. I couldn't make a layup, but that's the least of my worries. But yeah, my legs, my body feels just powerful, feels strong. Like there was a stint where I played, I think, 13 minutes straight from the end of the first quarter, 12 minutes, then the whole second quarter. And I felt really good, So the work that I put in, and this is the reason for it.
Last question for James. Historically, this team has struggled in the playoffs whenever Joel hits the bench. Obviously, you guys had great minutes today and have been coming on down the stretch. I guess what's allowing you to have more success in those games?
I've just Doc and myself just on the same page in the sense of in that second unit, who's out there, who's gonna be playing on the court, what we're trying to accomplish. You know what I mean? We can't make it too difficult. We got to make it easy and know what we're trying to accomplish. And I think that group with Melt and J-Mac and George and P. Reed, you know, we get it. Obviously, everything isn't going to be great, but defensively, we have to get stops. And then offensively, as much space as we can, you know what I mean? And then I'll do all the work, and guys should be ready to shoot and make plays and finish. And, you know, tonight was a great, you know, example of that. And that unit is going to be extremely key. You know what I mean? Like start the second quarter, start the fourth quarters. That's a big part of the game. And if we can manage and be even or even take the lead, you know, then that's a bonus for us. So tonight was a great start for us, and we got to be even better game too.
Thanks, James.
Appreciate it.
Doc talked about the way you guys move the ball around, especially from James. You got 3 guys scoring 20 points, including yourself. Can you talk about how the offense flowed with the ball going around the way it did?
I just thought we did a good job of kind of what was presented to us early on. The double teams off of Joel, him just making quick decisions and getting rid of it, and allowing us to just make them make decisions, right? Like quick closeout, shooting threes. So when that ball's hopping around like that, everybody is in a flow and a rhythm, and it's tough to guard. And you know, more times than not, we're getting good looks, and just with Joel and James' presence out there for creating a few double teams on the perimeter, that just opened up the game for everybody, and we were able to make shots.
Doc talked about the accuracy of the passes this week. You guys were focusing on that. Did you notice a difference that really helped during the week?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was an emphasis of just, you know, making on-target passes to shooters and being ready to shoot. Everybody on this team, you know, we have a lot of guys who can shoot the 3-ball at a high clip, and when we get those open looks, we just got to let them go and live with the results. And, you know, we did definitely do a lot of stuff this whole week on making sure we make great passes for looks and knowing that impacts a shooter every time on the floor. So, yeah.
You said that again, particularly on the offensive glass. I felt like you guys overall just did a really good job of that. Do you feel like at this point in the season some of his tendencies, some of his energy is starting to rub off on you guys?
Yeah, I mean, you know, playoff basketball is just about every possession. And, you know, PJ, he gave us more possessions out there on the floor by crashing the glass and just being, you know, physical out there, his presence out there defensively as well. So I think, you know, 5 steals, 5 offensive rebounds, that's huge for us. And added possessions, you know, they add up at the end of the game. And that was a huge reason why we got extra looks and good looks as well.
You're talking about James's playmaking ability and then to be aggressive. How much more comfortable is he now knowing the moments within the game of when to do what?
Yeah, I think he's very comfortable. I think you saw tonight just the ability to, you know, make the threes, especially out there, and those are big shots for our whole group. And then outside of that, with the second unit and Paul Reed, they were able to have a lot of great plays out there, just you know, making the other team make a decision on what they wanted to give up. So he was huge for us all game.
Both of these last 2 seasons, you've kind of fallen out of the spotlight second half of the season as an offensive player, and then suddenly, you know, in the first game last year against Toronto, and then this game tonight, you kind of blossom and become the perfect version of yourself in your role. I guess how do you kind of just suddenly snap into that mindset?
Just taking advantage of the opportunities when they're presented to me. Be aggressive, you know, be able to be sharp out there all season long. I mean, you know, it's flows of how we play, and you know, offensively, you know, the opportunities out there, but it's just staying focused, staying ready, and being ready for the moment. And tonight, I was able to get a lot of great looks. The ball was flying around, and was able to just get more opportunity. And you know, I put that work in to be able to stay consistent, stay efficient throughout the whole season, no matter, you know, how many shots I get one game or the next game. It's just being ready for the moment. And tonight, you know, in the playoffs is, you know, when you're gonna have, like, you know, different matchups that teams are presenting out there, you know, double teams, different schemes. And for me, it's just staying in the moment and being aggressive with all opportunities that come my way. And, yeah, man, that's really all I'm trying to do.
Tobias, you guys know it was slow down Mikal Bridges in the second half. He had 23 in the first half, 7 in the second half. What was the difference offensively from Mikal Bridges from being out there on the floor?
Just making his looks harder. I'm not about to get a whole game plan, but you seen what he's doing out there. I mean, he's a hell of a player, and they run a lot of actions through him. He was making a lot of tough shots, contested shots. But for us as a group, I mean, that's going to be a huge emphasis for us going into game 2 of being ready to trying to stop them offensively because, we know how good they are and how many guys they got out there that can make plays. But, he was really good, got going early on, especially in the game. But we had to show a little bit different schemes defensively versus him to kind of slow up his looks.
Can you get a sense of whether this, or if it doesn't, mean more to James? He's playing against his old team.
Did you ask him?
I did not get you.
Oh, I don't. Honestly, I don't think he. I don't think he cares that much. To be honest, I think he's just trying to do whatever he can to help our team win. You talked about like the strength of how he looks on the floor, and you are seeing that explosion into the step back and the way that he's moving out there. But I think it's less about his other team and more about the group that he's with right now.
Thank you, Tobias.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, everybody.